Yeah, it's recording.
Right, this is my presentation on the Falcons, and Joey Stubbs is my guy, Joseph Stubbs, I believe. It's not. I believe it's not actually Stubbs. It was something before. I believe it's like Joey. Yeah. I'll research that then. Right. So he was born in '42, February 5th, Detroit. I think it was Michigan as well. I'm going to talk about the Falcons at the start. So they're a Detroit, Michigan soul group. Consisting of Eddie Floyd, Bob Monardo, Arnett Robinson, Tom Shetler, and Willie Schofield. Robert West was the uncle of Eddie Floyd, I think it was, and he sort of pushed the Falcons in the right direction because he managed Falcons under a record label I'm going to go into in greater detail. But he produced 2 of their tracks. So Robert West held auditions, and therefore Joey Stubbs and Mark Rice replaced Shetler and Monardo and Robinson in '57. And guitarist Lance Finney joined the group. It was a good friend of Joey Stubbs, I believe. The Falcons managed by Robert West. It was a Detroit soul pioneer under the Robert West record company, Silhouette Records. Robert West releases the Falcons' Master of You're So Fine, licensing it to the United Artists subsidiary UNR, which is sort of pushing it in a bigger direction, in a wider scale. The single went on to reach the National Pop Top 20, as well as ascending the number 2 spot on the R&B charts. The Falcons' first hit was You're So Fine, which reached 17 on the Billboard Top 40, and I've got a link of just evidence of that. So going into more Stubbs sort of thing, Stubbs is replaced by Wilson Pickett in the Falcons in 1960, so that's him out of the Falcons. But what I've sort of picked up from one of your slides is that he sort of comes in and out, you know, in a singing role, which I need to look more into. Stubbs released single "Keep On Loving Me" with Lupine Records. So Lupine Records, learning from your slides, Lupine Records has sort of always been related to the members of the Falcons, even if it's not just specifically the Falcons. Stubbs joined the Contours in '65, and I haven't managed to find a date in when he joined the Originals. These two are R&B soul. Contours was signed by Berry Gordy. I'm going to go into great detail with them as well. And then just in '67, I found a compilation CD of Joey Stubbs, including a lot of his tracks. It's like a list of 24. I've got the link on there. It's a list of 24, and it's greatly Joey Stubbs. So, he had quite an effect. And again, I need to go into greater detail. He joins 100 Proof Agent Soul, and I believe they're quite a big group. So, I need to extend that. So, first off, I'm going to go into Robert West. So as I said, he was Falcons manager, born March 1, 1912 in Montgomery, AL. In '35, he moved to Motor City, Detroit, where in '57 he made Silhouette Records. He managed the Falcons, including member Eddie Floyd Roberts. I don't know, it's not Robert's son, but his nephew. He also produced in 2 of their records, Sent Up and Far Away, the most successful record out of the 8 on Silhouette Records during the label's time running. And it's also said Silhouette Records didn't have massive success. And these are the list of artists who were also on that record, who it's been said that they've sort of like been shoved under the light. But so these artists were the Baldoras, the Classmates, Jan Wine, the Vocals, and Jim Beasley and Chance. So now I'll go into a bit of the contour. So here's the contours. This picture includes Huey Davis, Hubert Johnson, Billy Gordon, Billy Hoggs, Joe Bingsley, and Sylvester Potts. What I haven't done is, because I based Contours on because Joe Stubbs was joining them. I haven't managed to find a picture of Joe Stubbs included Joe Stubbs, so that's what I can get into. Originally called the Blenders, signed by Berry Gordy Jr. and Joe Billingsley in 1960, who was actually the guitarist, I believe. Contours are a Detroit, Michigan soul singing group. Members have come and gone during their period of time. Still running today. Current members consisting of Joe Billingsley, which I believe is the second one, but I thought he was the guitarist, which I've got some information on, so I can extend that as well. But that's just a list of the past members and the current members. A lot, because it's a lineup of 6, and there's been swaps and changes, and I can get the dates of them and extend that. So that's what I've got so far. That's that.
Okay, right. Thanks, Archie. Well done.
That's excellent. It's really good. Yeah, the contours are interesting as well. I mean, you've heard Do You Love Me, haven't you? Everybody said that.
Yeah,
Dirty
yeah, yeah.
Dancing.
Yeah.
That's the big hit. But the guy there, Dennis Edwards, I think went off to the Temptations. But yeah, I think it's good that you've looked at Joe Stubbs and also with. Did you say you went with the Detroit Spinners? Did you?
Detroit Spinners, I haven't talked about.
Did you? Oh no, you mentioned the other group as well. You know, his brother was with the Four Tops.
Yeah,
So,
Levy Stubbs,
Yeah, it's just been worth mentioning that. I think the way you done that was excellent. I thought there was loads of information there, a lot of research. I'm really pleased that you looked at West, yeah, and highlighted him, because the producers are so important as well, aren't
It's
they?
such
you
a
know?
push in there.
Yeah, and as I say, the information on this is quite, difficult, quite sparse, But you've looked at the producer, and I think that's excellent, Maybe, and you've also mentioned Silhouette Records as well.
Yeah.
So no, that's well put together.
I think I could go into a bit more of Robert West, because he's formed like a number of labels.
Yeah.
So I could go in a bit more on that.
I mean, you could also look at maybe who's in on the sessions. That's quite a difficult area.
Yeah.
You've got to remember when the Contours and people like that are playing in the Snake Pit, then none of the musicians are getting any credits.
Oh yeah, we talked about that last
Don't get credits till later. So it's very interesting to to try and dig and see if you can find.
Yeah.
That's me being demanding.
Well, it's interesting to find out. Yeah.
Tom?
Yeah, very good. I just think overall, it may be because Stuart was saying that the information is a bit sparse and it's difficult to kind of get all the information that you're looking for. But generally, as a presentation and the way you presented, so there's often you would say that you weren't sure about information that you were given.
Yeah.
Often you mentioned the word "I think this is
Yeah.
the case," and I believe this might be the case.
It's
here,
because I
and this
haven't
might-
been given my references, and what I'll do is I'll give a number of references that say the same thing, because I don't want to say something that isn't sort of like true.
Factual.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine, and I think you're right in saying that. It's just when it comes to the actual final presentation of what you deliver, I think it's probably a good idea to keep it factual, and therefore deliver facts and give us the sources and
Some sort of giving to you.
clarify what you're saying, so that what you're saying is true and factual, and you know it to be the case because of the evidence that you've got. And try and stay away from things where you think something might be the case, or this person in the photograph might be that person, but you thought he played guitar. So then that you're not being, to be honest, that's not much good to anybody really. That kind of information, is it? You may as well roll a dice and say, "Oh, it was this."
There's
So-
busy lineups as well.
Yeah.
People are coming and going with the groups all the time, especially in
Literally,
Motown. So it is difficult to.
So it might be the case that the information is very difficult to get hold of, and therefore it's challenging for you to complete the task.
I'll only put something for now.
Stick to the facts and make it real. Make sure you source the information and you can clarify where it came from.
Yeah.
And as Stuart said, maybe if you're finding difficulty tracking down a given guy, then you can always divert off, and as Stuart said, find out who was on the session musicians, or add some more detail, wander off track a little bit and find something that's interesting that's still linked to the person that's talking.
Okay. So it's still sort of related to him. It's just
If you're looking at the Contours and the Detroit Spinners and those early Motown groups, there is, you'd have to go to a library, there are 13 volumes of the complete Motown singles.
Oh, I see.
Okay, each one contains about 7 CDs and they've got a booklet and they've got the complete discography and the write-ups, so you can get quite a bit of
Right,
information.
right.
And they're quite recent.
Yeah.
The last one was issued, I think, this year.
What's it called, the book?
The complete Motown singles.
All right, cool.
Yeah, they're quite expensive to buy, but
Yeah.
you go to a lot, they're about 60 quid each.
All right.
But that is a wealth of information from all those
Yeah.
Motown
I'll check that
enthusiasts and
out. Do you
nerds.
reckon they'll have that in there?
Unlikely they'll have it in the college library. The,
I have a couple of volumes, but they kind of stay in the house.
yeah, I can imagine the surprise. But where would you, what library can we get a copy? Do you know? Have you?
Well,
been to
Reading Library should have. I mean, if they don't, you should be able to request it, and they'll get it in. That's what libraries are for, you know.
Right, so it's a good bit of information here.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to find something and that library doesn't have it, we could always put a request in it
Yeah.
at the
cool.
college library and
It'd
see
be good
if.
for the future as well.
Yeah. So we'll leave that up to you.
All right.
That's for you to go to the library and ask, or to request that you get a copy of that.
All right.
And there's a book on all the singles as well. I'll give you the title of.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll help you out
Good.
with that
Yeah,
particular.
yeah.
I'm sure it includes a lot of that stuff as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Well done.